If you're copying a bunch of workouts you see online, training hard, not seeing the results you want, then in today's video, we're gonna fix that. I'm gonna teach you exactly how to write your own program focused on muscle growth. We're gonna go through sets, reps, intensity, exercise selection, and much more. This way you can stop guessing and start progressing. Step one is working out your training split and how many days a week you wanna work out. So the two main things we want here is enjoyment and what you can fit into your lifestyle, and at least training the muscle twice a week. So all these splits are gonna make sure we do train the muscle twice a week, and after that, you just wanna pick what's gonna fit your lifestyle best and you enjoy. I'd recommend between 3 to 5 days a week. The reason I wouldn't recommend under that is because it's hard to get your volume in to train every muscle group twice a week at a reasonable amount. And the reason I don't recommend 6-7 days a week, you can definitely do 6 days, but the reason I don't recommend it is because I think you can get a lot more bang for your buck out of 4 or 5 days a week, actually recover a lot better, push these sessions harder. So if you can do 3 days a week, I'd recommend a full body split by 3 days. Or if you're focused on upper body or lower body, I'd recommend a upper, lower, upper, or lower, upper, lower. 4 days a week, my personal favorite. Upper, lower by 2 days, so upper, lower twice a week, or push, pull legs upper or push pull legs lower, depending on your goal, upper or lower body. 5 days a week, I'd recommend a push pull legs upper lower, or push pull legs plus push pull if your focus is on upper body. There are more splits you can do, but these are the most common ones and ones that actually work. A quick note before we finish step one, whatever your focus is, whether it's upper body, lower body, make sure that day is after a rest day. So if your focus is on upper body and you're doing upper lower by 2, make sure upper starts the week off, and if you have a rest day, you're going back into upper. This way you're going to be fresh, full of energy, ready to hit the session as hard as possible. Step 2 is working out how many exercises to do per session. So I'd recommend doing anywhere from 4 to 7 exercises per session. Obviously, if you're doing 7 exercises per session, the sets are gonna have to come down, which we'll touch on in a second. And if you're doing 4, the sets might be a little bit higher. But anywhere from 4 to 7 is a good amount. Any less than that, it's gonna be hard to train multiple muscle groups with the right amount of volume. And any more than that, you're just doing too much, a bunch of junk volume. Step 3 is sets. So sets per session and sets per exercise. For the session, we wanna aim for 8 to 15 sets. Any less than that, you're probably gonna struggle to get your volume in. Any more than that, again, you're just gonna be wasting a bunch of energy doing lots of junk volume. 15 sets is more than enough in a whole session. After this, you're gonna be completely spent if you're training correctly. And for exercise, I'd recommend 2 to 3 sets per exercise. Why I recommend this is because if we had a graph where it has stimulus here, so stimulus and sets at the bottom, if we look at set 1, that gives us a massive amount of stimulus, the most we're gonna get from any set. Set 2, again, a big amount of stimulus. Set 3, again, pretty big amount of stimulus, a little bit less than set 2. And set 4, again, the stimulus drops off, but we do get one. From set 4 to 5, we barely get any stimulus. So you're putting a lot of effort in for not much return. And when we get to 7 and 8 sets, we're actually going down. So more isn't better. So if we stick to 2 to 3 sets per exercise, we're gonna make sure we get the most stimulus for the least amount of set, which means instead of doing junk volume, we can put that energy towards other exercises, other muscle groups, or maybe other exercises for that muscle group. Before we go on to step 4, I just want to mention that everything we go through in this video, plus a whole lot more, is in the Muscle Growth Blueprint. So if you want a program focused on maximizing muscle growth that has a multiple options, either 4 or 5 days a week, then the Muscle Growth Blueprint's for you. So click the link in the description. Now, anywhere from 5 to 30 reps, if taken to the same intensity, is going to give you the same amount of muscle growth. But what we want is most of our sets done in the 5 to 12 rep range. Why we don't want a lot higher is because when we start going well over 12 reps, 15, 20 plus reps, we're gonna run in issues like cardio giving out, mentally giving out, other muscle groups giving out, well before the muscle we're trying to train gives out, which means stimulus is gonna be much lower. So if we stick on the lower end, we're not gonna run into them issues as much, and we're gonna create less fatigue, because the more reps we do, the more fatigue we're gonna create. And if you don't believe me, go out and do a set of 30 on the squats, take it to failure or a couple reps close to failure, then do 5 reps at the exact same intensity. I can guarantee you the 30 reps is absolutely gonna smoke you. You're not gonna wanna do a thing afterwards, whereas the 5, you'll have a few minutes rest and you'll be ready to go again. So most of your sets should be done in the 5 to 12 rep range. Step 5 is training intensity. So we're gonna work off something called RIR, reps in reserve. What this means is if we hit a 5 RIR, it would mean we'd have 5 reps left in the tank at the end of the set. So a pretty easy set. What a 0 RIR means is a max set. We have no reps left in the tank at the end of the set. So what we wanna do is aim for this area down here. Unfortunately, most people aim for this area, pretty easy sets. Why we want to aim for this area is because the stimulus for muscle growth is really high here. Why we don't want to always go to 0 though, a max set, is because fatigue is also really high here. So to maximize stimulus while not maximizing fatigue, we want to sit around this 3, 2, 1 area, leaving 3, 2, 1 reps left in the tank. Doing max sets every now and then is fine, and I definitely encourage it. It's going to teach you to get a better RIR, which in the end is going to increase muscle growth. So when we look at training intensity, we want to stick to a 3, 2, 1 RIR. This way we'll maximize muscle growth. Step 6, we're going to go through 2 things here. So exercise selection and order within the session those exercises go. Starting off with exercise selection, I think a lot of people get this one wrong. So the 2 things we're going to touch on here. First off, mixing compounds and isolation exercises. So we want a good mixture of things. Our compounds are going to train multiple muscle groups, probably best off to be towards the start of the session when we're a little bit more fresh, because they're a little bit more demanding and take more skill. And isolation movements are going to help us bring up our weak points, things like a bicep curl or a tricep extension. So make sure you have a good mixture of exercises, not just all compounds or all isolation movements. So the second thing, and what I think most people do get wrong, is training different movement patterns. So if we had 6 sets per session of chest and you split it up something like bench, so bench press for 3 sets and dumbbell bench for 3 sets, that would equal 6 sets for the session. But there's a lot of junk volume done there, wasted effort and time. Instead, what we want, instead of bench press into dumbbell bench press, because they're the same movement pattern, what we'd want is bench press into something like a fly. So if we get rid of the dumbbell bench, put something like a pec fly there. So we're going to train the pecs totally different there, horizontal adduction. So 2 different movements there, but the same muscle group. This obviously works on every muscle group, and it's a really common one people do mess up. A couple more examples would be a pull up into a pull down, a barbell squat into a leg press. These are all the exact same movements, and you're just, again, doing a bunch of junk volume that could be better put towards other exercises. Next point we're going to look at is exercise order within the session. So if we look at our session here, dumbbell bench, pull up, lateral raise, bicep curl. So let's say your goal is to grow your arms, your biceps in particular. Now, if we have biceps at the end of the session, we're not going to have as much energy as we do at the start of the session. So what that means is we can't push that exercise to the point where it's going to maximize its muscle growth. So instead, we're going to put the bicep curl at the start of the session. It doesn't matter that it's an isolation movement. It can go at the start of the session. Like I said, your goal was to grow your biceps. So you want it when you're fresh, ready, don't have a bunch of fatigue sitting there. This way you're going to maximize the muscle growth in that muscle group. So if you follow those 6 steps, I'm more than confident you're going to create a program that's going to maximize your muscle growth. Or better yet, you're just going to know from now on every program you look at if it's a good or a bad program. If you do want a good program, like I mentioned before, all of the stuff we went through is inside the Muscle Growth Blueprint, plus a whole lot more. So that link is in the description if you do want that one. If you did enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.